If you have been in business for any length of time, you have had to handle negative client feedback. Even if you're the best interior designer in the world, this is something we all have to deal with. So today, we're gonna get down and dirty, we're gonna get raw and real, and we're gonna talk about how to handle it. Listen, I have been in business for 15 years, and what I know is that over the years, I have had to handle many uncomfortable, challenging confrontations with clients. In this video, I'm gonna share with you an example of a challenging situation I faced with a client, how it resolved really actually beautifully in a way that strengthened our bond, and I'm gonna show you the framework that I went through in order to manage that dissatisfied client. Let me tell you the story so you understand the framework that we're working inside of. I was working a few years ago with a client named Daniel. And in Daniel's house, we were doing a lot of rooms in the house, including the kitchen. Now, when we were working on the kitchen, we had a beautiful design. We were all very excited about it. But when we went to install the kitchen cabinets, the finish on the kitchen cabinets was deteriorated so much that it was, let's just say, faulty. And the client called me extremely upset, raising his voice at me saying, we've paid all this money for these cabinets and we've paid all this money for you to support us and getting us the people for the cabinets, and now it's all gone wrong, and like, where were you and what happened and how come you didn't foresee this and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay. So I said, oh my gosh, Daniel, I totally agree with you. Like, what you're experiencing right now is not the way it should be. You're right. You did hire me to, oversee all this stuff. So you're absolutely right. What I see is that this is fixable. What I know is that I will stand by you. What I know is that I've got your back and I'm gonna see this thing through till the end. I've got you. So here's what I'm gonna do. I am going to immediately, when we hang up, call the manufacturer of the cabinets. I am going to set up a meeting right away. I'm gonna leave my office as soon as possible to come over there and meet that person, and we are going to talk about resolution. And I promise you, I will stand by this, Daniel. You will not pay a penny out of your pocket to remedy any of this. I've got you covered. And you know what he did? He was like, thank you. And I did. I followed through, and I did have challenging conversations with the manufacturers to remedy the kitchen. It did require some, effort on my part to see that through, and I did. I stood by my client and I made it happen. And at the end of the day, he was so grateful. And now the song that he's singing is one about, wow, look at how Katie resolved all of these issues. Fast forward a couple of years later, and they hired us again to do more work with them. The first thing that's really important is when you get negative feedback from a client, always repeat back to them what they're saying. What you're gonna do is validate their feelings. So then the next piece of that is to actually validate their feelings by saying something like, you know what? You're right for feeling that. You're absolutely right. You should expect quality for the money. When you tell them that they're right and that you agree with them, all of a sudden they can feel diffused in their anger because now they feel like you're on their same page, you're a team, and you've got them. The next thing to do is show them that you have similar values. That looks like, I agree with you. You should get quality for your money. I agree, and I agree with that in my business as well. I do believe that I need to deliver excellence to you. And then finally, you can suggest an option for resolution. For example, with Daniel's project, my resolution was, I'm gonna get the cabinet installer back out here. I'm gonna schedule as many meetings as we need in order to see this resolution through. And at the end of the day, he was happy because what I fought for was a finish on the kitchen cabinets that was actually an upgrade that he didn't pay for originally. So what he ultimately was ended up with was cabinetry that was even better than he originally expected. Now, you may be sitting there thinking like, that's great if the client's reasonable, but what if they're unreasonable? Well, trust me, I've dealt with everything under the sun, right? In fact, one time, this is maybe my third or fourth project ever, I can't remember, wherein I had a client yell at me on the phone and say, you know what, you're just stupid, and hung up the phone on me. Now, here's what I would invite you to consider. There are clients that you really love working with, and there are some people who are not your client. And I think in those situations, what you get to do is have boundaries around your integrity and boundaries around the energy you allow into your personal space and into your business and into your office. And there are some that you don't. With that client that called me stupid and said some other derogatory things to other team members of mine, that was a no. That was a do not pass go. And so from that moment on, that was a decision to never work with that client again. And we never did. What you first have to understand and embody energetically is that when someone comes to you very upset, it's usually not about you. It's usually about something that they think, something that they feel. So don't take it personally. One pointer is that if you can get to be face-to-face or at least on the phone with them, you're gonna get them to show up more sensitively to you. Now, one thing you get to embody is that as the leader of your company, as the leader of your projects, as the leader of your clients, what you get to do is embody strong, empowered leadership. A lot of times what that means is being able and being willing to have challenging conversations, addressing the elephant in the room. And I promise you that if you can address it earlier, that the situation will resolve much faster and cleaner. So be willing to stand up and be a strong leader in the moment that you need to. Listen, I know, trust me. I know that being a business owner means that you have access to challenges that not everybody else has access to. And that means you're called forward into being a person. Oh, I have goosebumps. That means that you're getting called into being a human being, being a person that maybe is stretching you and feels like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling stretched. I get it. Trust me. I have been there. I have been there so many times, which is why I am dedicated to bringing together a group of designers that want to journey together, heart to heart, arm in arm, to support each other and encourage each other and uplift each other in these challenging times. So if you feel like, what? I really want to be involved in a community that's supportive like that, then come on over. I'd be so happy to have you. You're my people. Visit me at biographical.design.com where you can learn more about joining our program. Okay, hold on a second. I'm being really raw with you right now, so do me a favor and give me a like and a subscribe so that I can feel a little pat on my back. We all need encouragement, don't we?